Yeah, so here we go again. It is Friday. My battery for some reason only has 11.7 volts even though I just turned the car off. Let me just turn it on again. There we go. Um, I have managed to write some. I've written about a page and a third and 2/3 a page worth of references, just shy of for both. Um, Not too fond of that. I would have liked to write more in volume, but in matter, I got my definitions down and the introduction to the paper, which is a lot of thought, a lot of words in thought. But then again, I should be stretching the words as I write them, because otherwise I'm never going to manage 40 pages in this time period. I did export a PDF and send it to my supervisor, stating I'd send a next revision by the mid of next week, so that would be latest Wednesday. Mittwoch in German, so the middle of the week. So the middle of the working week, not the middle of the regular week, unless you're American and start your weeks on Sundays for some reason, which are the end of the weekend. Yeah. But that means I've now committed to doing some more work by then, which means I can't slack the entire time. And I did manage to send in the couple of pages worth of stuff I got at this time. I say a couple of pages, the first 5 lines is a legend for my highlighting, because I highlight things for citation needed or needs rephrasing, work in progress, you know. I've managed to not have any citations needed at the end of the day. Got all the citations I could have used. Had a fly, just had to get it out of the car, The thing about that is, it's no problem getting the citations, and I don't even think the value of the citations matter much for uni's sake, but I've been preferring journals over blogs and so on, which means I actually already have 3 journal publications, so at least 2 of them are papers published in journals. And I guess that's quite some work for just a page of content. Then again, I shouldn't be writing only a page. I should, at this time, have a total minimum of 5, maybe 6 pages. Which means I am currently behind schedule. Yesterday, I did not write squat. I ended up not doing nothing in the evening. I was too low energy. Or typing up, that is. Today I typed up 2 pages. You might have figured by the way I said pages, not shown a notebook and said pages, but meh. I've been typing on the iPad. It's not the best of typing experiences, but it is portable. And I can use it in sync with the phone for browsing citations, which means I then don't need to manually transfer them. They just automatically sync. I believe I have had around 10 tobacco cigarettes today. Not optimal, but less than yesterday. Yesterday I ended up having like 16, 17. The one thing I find a bit odd is I spent quite some time yesterday night rolling these shorter blunts. They're just regular cigarette size, so they fit in a packet. And I've been smoking way more of them. They're more practical in form factor, and they are cheaper, obviously, because they're smaller. They're about 70 euro cents, including paper and filter. So that would be 2 German cigarettes in price, pretty much. 3 Polish cigarettes, so But this is like my 12th or so today. So I'm smoking too many of them, just as I am tobacco. With the sum of these today and my tobacco consumption, I'll be at my regular consumption of smoking, which is not the aim of this X course, I guess is to call it. I might very well end up going back to tobacco and just thinking more conscientiously about whether I want to light a cigarette or not. Then again, I still have 180 grams of hemp, so I might as well keep trying for the moment. I have not yet decided, that is for sure. But, you know, I think next time I'll roll blunts, which will likely be tonight, I'll make them big size ones. Because of those, I only had a couple, 3, maybe 4 in a day, plus the tobacco, and overall that was less hemp by mass as well. So, you know, I mean, just the wastage you toss in the ashtray once you're done is obviously more if you have more smaller. So, meh. I did all my writing today at my former place of internship. It was a good enough reason to get out of bed in the morning, because I had to get out of the flat to get there. I was actually there before work starts officially, so I was there just shy of 9 in the AM. Had a good day writing. Helped out a bit on the side whenever, you know. Just small things. I'm not packing any jobs or so, because, surprise, I do not currently work there. But they tolerate me being there and consuming their coffee and so on, because I help out every now and then, and they don't even got to ask me to, I just do, you know. And it helps for me to basically take breaks as well with writing. Because today I've done solid 8 hours of writing, which is not a healthy amount. Then again, in those 8 hours, I only produced 2 pages, which is surprisingly few characters per time. I did still have to produce like 5 citations in the process of writing, but 5 went actually too bad. I mean, you know, it was for statements like, I didn't think one that needed a citation for this, but I weren't sure, so I asked someone there. Apparently you need citations to say video referred to analog video signals commonly stored on tapes, because young kids would not even know what a tape is, which I find hard to fathom. Just because, I mean, I have tapes at home. I'm not that old. I'm only 25. Come on. Then again, these days there should be people on the road who are born in 2006, which is crazy, considering a year later I was at my first air show. Biggin Hill, 2007. People being conceived now weren't born by the time I was at my first air show. It's just nuts, you know. Then again, that's how time works. Another parallel on how time works is, I don't think it's the hemp, I think it's more the weather and so on. I seem to be driving faster in comparison to other drivers. Comparison's the end of all joy, tell you. But I feel as if I'm driving slower just because I am still messing around with the double clutching aspect while driving. I have a synchro in this car, very obviously, because it's a post-2000 car, odds are it's going to have a synchro. I mean, even pre-2000 cars had some synchros, you know. But I've just been doing it for funsies. And I still accelerate quicker than all the cars behind me. I just leave them in the dust. I don't know if it's because they're all on their phones or what's wrong with them, you know. But I'm confident I don't even go above the speed limit. So I don't know how I'm faster than others when I'm not even going to the speed limit. Then again, I'm not faster in elongated stretches of zero acceleration. Where I am faster is when you have positive acceleration. And when you have negative acceleration as well, I guess. When you decelerate, I am faster than them, just because I don't want to cause a traffic jam behind me, as some people do, I guess. Oh no, you know, I don't want to cause a traffic jam, believe it or not. It's crazy. I'm really exhausted from today's work. I say work, what I mean is typing up shit that I mostly conceived of the past few days. I'll just clarify the phrasings. I am more than slightly concerned for that, because I got about 7 weeks now to produce 38 pages, 37, 39, 38 should do, just with formatting and so on. But 38 pages in this time is going to be a tough one. I've already mentioned this to my supervisor in the email I sent today. I don't think I'll have a problem, but if I continue writing this fort dense, which I made up because apparently Word doesn't know a word like that, I'll have to look out because I won't meet the word minimum, which is me implicitly, not explicitly, asking for my supervisor's blessing to not meet 40 pages. Then again, I haven't gotten the blessing, so for now I should just assume I have to do 40 pages, and that way I'll be prepared no matter what. Oh well. Weather today is about 20% cloud coverage. It's pretty warm actually. It's 22 degrees centigrade in the shade. Slight breeze. Humid-ish, not too bad. 60-70% if I had to guess. Don't actually know. You can hear the birds sing every now and then, which is odd because you'd think it's more of a spring or autumn thing, but they are doing it still. Looking for mates. One thing I was seeing the other day, that would be day before yesterday, is an L1H2 Mercedes Sprinter. The L refers to the length increasing as the number increase, so higher number, longer car, and the H is for the height. I believe that usually only goes to 2, maybe to 3 with Sprinters. I don't know. But I was seeing a really short and quite tall Sprinter drive by. It looked really wonky. Then again, it's just the minor joys. One thing I've experienced yesterday, and I did mention yesterday, but I've continued experiencing today, is these crazy drivers whom everyone knows are on the road, who sit so far up your arse you cannot see them in the rear mirror. I mean, admittedly, my rear view is obstructed by a wall and a tinted window in the back and all. But if I can't see in my rear mirror, it's not because my mirror's too dark. It's fucking day outside, you know. Time is 26 to 7 in the PM. It's just because you are in the sight line below what the mirror and the edge of the rear window define. If I can't see in my rear view, you're too close. I have luckily not had to brake with someone that far up my arse, but I do drive on the far edges of the road the moment I have the situations like that, just because I am not comfortable with people like that. And I do flash my fog rear light, which is strictly speaking not allowed. It's only allowed with less than 50 meters of visibility in dense fog, and I abuse it to tell the people behind, oi, fuck off, you're too close. I could also use my hazards, but I guess it's actually the appropriate use for hazards. In future, I'll just use my hazards for now, I guess. Look out, there's a hazard here. And then you can slow down a bit, so they have to get a bit of distance, but not by braking, obviously. Then again, I probably should also not drop a gear with someone that close behind me, because odds are they'll run into me. And I cannot afford another car. So that would screw me pretty hard. I've wondered whether to report that to the police, because they are forcing me to keep going and I cannot brake even if there is a child in front of my car. Obviously I should still, and I hopefully would. I haven't had the situation luckily. But I don't like the uncertainty or the certainty of bad when you do have to brake, having someone inside your back of your car, you know. I guess the only good news is, even if I do have to brake, if they manage to brake even a little, my trailer hitch should just wreck their car, and they should not manage to do much to the back of mine. I mean, the bumper and the boot would be fucked. But beside that, I don't think many cars will do much structural damage to this. Who knows? I mean, it's still not got any rust. It's got solid steel beams for chassis. Well, solid steel pipes. They aren't solid through the centre. It's just a very solid steel. a few mil thick. I'm fairly confident actually, because I have touched them. When I say a few mil, it might only be 2, admittedly. I haven't had any sarnies since I went shopping yesterday. I think I'll have some tonight. Sandwiches, sarnies being synonymous to sandwiches. I got bread and I got all the things I need for on top, and I got a lot of all the things I need for on top. So that's going to be my food for the week. I still got some easy to boil pasta and some open pesto, and of course closed pasta and pesto. But it's just too bloody warm to be boiling a pot of water, because on the end of the day that heat goes somewhere, and most of it's my flat. I don't like that idea. I'd much rather, there we go, much rather have cold food and not worry about heating my flat more. Because I have been close to considering running the air conditioning, then again it draw a fuck ton of power, and nah. The way it's currently going, I don't know if I'll ever get the money from BAföG Amt, the Office for BAföG, which is a student loan / grant scheme here in Germany for Germans who are studying, or students who, pupils even, who live away from their parents and are below 45 years of age, and it's the first time they are on this branch of education, whichever that shall be. There we go. Quickly explaining things. Haha. I'm starting to get worried about it, because I supposedly should have a letter. I'll hope to have it when I get home. But I was supposed to have it 2 days ago, according to their email that they'd sent it. And I have yet to receive it, and I haven't received any money, which makes me think they want more of some kind of documentation that they hadn't previously wanted. Eventually I'll just end up rocking up there and sitting in their lobby writing my bachelor's thesis and finding the right person to talk to. Because it can't be that they aren't giving me money for now the 3rd month of the semester, and it's been 5 months since, well, it's been 5 months since they owe me money. Soon we're going on half a year, and for the first 2, it is certain they owe me money for the first 2 months that they do. So for February and March, they guaranteed owe me money, because they simply hadn't considered the aspect of me having to get to my internship and back. That is out of the question if they owe me money for then. And admittedly, from April onwards, I did apply late. I only applied, I believe, mid-March, might have been end March. Then again, their working time for things are apparently 6 to 8 weeks, which have now passed. Then again, I don't know. Might just be they're overworked. Then again, there's always people looking for jobs somewhere, and I mean, train them. Come on, you can do it. I believe in you. I don't know. I mean, I haven't even gotten a letter with, oh yeah, we'll be late. So, slightly concerned, I guess. This too will pass. There'll be a time at which I can just say, oh, I feel like eating a kebab, and not worry about the money. So, this too will pass. Oddly enough, the solo therapy session with me saying that was for positives, because I had just gotten an internship place, which the day after, or a couple of days after, I was then told I did not get. So yeah, this too shall pass. I did not know that at the time I titled that, so that's really fitting. This too shall pass applies to both positive and negative experiences. And there shall be a time in which I will not be reliant on the Office for BAföG, BAföG Amt. There shall be a time in which I'm not reliant on them, on which I am reliant but on my paycheck. And obviously, once one do not get a paycheck for quite a while, one start looking for different source of paychecks. So In future, it'll be on my own terms if I don't get the money. And at the end of the day, this BAföG is as close to a paycheck as you can get for being a student. Because I would never have the time to do all this if I were not being paid. And the idea of me being paid to educate is because higher educated, I'll get more money, I'll pay more taxes. It's not an altruistic aspect. It's purely economical from the government's perspective. It's just a question of time until they manage, hopefully. You'd think it can't be that hard. You'd be surprised how hard things can be. It's just, I don't want to say it, but for at least cynical me, perhaps normal me as well, is unprofessional, which is odd to say about German bureaucrats, because they are very bureaucratic and they are very German. But it's unprofessional if you got a deadline of 6 to 8 weeks. Why on earth are you taking longer? Come on. It's not that hard. Yeah, anyways, I'm starting to repeat myself. Thank you very much for watching these, by the way. I appreciate it. One thing I have a hard time fathoming is today I heard of an outlet not working, that being a power outlet. And the party reporting this had not considered the breaker, apparently. Which means if you put in a fork, well, you can't put a fork in proper Schulcore. If you put a wire in both phase and neutral with Schulcore, you short it out, do not electrify yourself, do not do this at home. You blow the breaker. You have to put back in before anything on that circuit gets any power. Apparently it's too much for some people. I should really just accept the fact I'm smart, but I have a hard time doing that, at least on an emotional level. Cognitively I am aware, but I have a hard time accepting it, I guess. I keep seeing myself as status quo, but I'm just built different. There we go, that's a thumbnail. Built different. Which I physically am, in here. I am just built different. Today I did not bring a drink of choice, which means my drink is my current car drink, which is peach flavoured water, apparently. It's just whatever big bottle I see that I like to try when I'm at the supermarket. Or in this case, it was a drink market last Tuesday. Not last, this Tuesday. We still have calendar week 23. I haven't heard back from my tutor for my elective, which I think is slightly odd because a couple of days ago, day before yesterday, they did send me a message, oh, I'll have a look in the evening, after I'd already talked to myself, I believe it was, and I'll respond then, and they have not responded since. Then again, they have acknowledged their receipt, which means I am not concerned for passing or not passing or getting a grade, because I shall pass. Because I'm just built different. Today is the 7th, which means Sunday will be the 9th, so Monday morning I got an appointment in uni, physical location for 10 or 15 minutes, it's not going to be a long one. Course appointment, final wrapping up of a course which never really took place, which is what Poetry Film was for. You can look back as Do not go quietly into that dark night by Thomas Dillon. I'm not particularly proud of the product, I am proud of having made it in less than 2 hours of actual time though. Admittedly, I spent many more hours worrying about doing it, but it took less than 2 hours from beginning to end of execution. Which is crazy, I guess. We're wrapping that up tomorrow. And then the day after tomorrow, I believe we're wrapping up the elective. The day after Monday. Tomorrow is not Monday, though it feels like it could be Sunday by the weather. Today's Friday. I'm looking forward to the screening there because I did really like the acting parties, actresses, whom I'd worked with. And I want to tell at least one of them about the film club I partake in because we also have actors. I may very well book one of them in future if they're willing to do it for next to nothing. I'm happy with the post-production I've done on that. I've done more than the minimum viable, but I have done not more than the minimum acceptable for me. Minimum viable, minimum acceptable for me, minimum acceptable for others, which happens to be the minimum viable assuming uni. You know how it is, funny. Minimum this, minimum that. Maximum free time edit, which means minimum viable. In most cases. My writing about video art for my thesis have got me to the point where I am considering digitizing some of my dad's tapes because they would make really good thesis films. Some of the stuff Ian and his friends done in the late 80s, just playing with perspective and so on, which I can claim to be the phenomenon of physics and Murray and which is good enough. So I could use that for my thesis, in which case I can justify digitizing some of it during my thesis period. Once I'm done with writing though, much rather. Writing is a priority and I do not like it. They took a very long time to pass. Then again, that they have passed. And have passed fairly well. Happy with the amount of tobacco I've consumed. Due to having gotten up this early today, I'll probably be in bed in an hour and a bit, like 8:30 or so. Current time is 11 to 7, which means 8:30 is less than 2 hours away from here, temporally from here. I'm looking forward to bed. I don't know if I'll be able to sleep. Been having a hard time falling asleep the past couple of nights. Just, lying there waiting for time to pass, waiting to go to sleep. And then you wake up this morning already and you feel like you've just only just fallen asleep, which objectively measured was 6-7 hours ago. I much prefer the sleep where you wake up in the morning and you feel like you've been asleep for years. Not literally, but figuratively, obviously. Being asleep for years would do pretty bad things to your muscle mass. It would have deteriorated significantly. There we go. Language is a hard thing. With my writing, I am happy, I guess. I just really need to craft more useless sentences. Sentences that repeat previously stated things and so on, which I believe is not very respectful of any potential reader, because by not repeating yourself, you are going on the assumption that, which is my opinion, the better or the less bad assumption of your reader being able to understand written word and having the capability of, if they do not understand it, being able to go back in a written piece of text themselves. Then again, perhaps the way people prefer is if you assume your reader is stupid and that they cannot even go back to look at what they read 2 minutes ago themselves, if they do not recall. I don't know. I mean, I still have minimum 15 pages of actual content I can write. Hopefully more. Time is a limiting factor though. If it were not, I would not be worried for volume of content. As it is currently, I'm going to have to thin the density of thoughts per word. Which is much like German efficiency, which is workers per work to be done. If one person can do a job, it's way better if one person notices a job has to be done, tells another, who then requests from another that it be done, who then allocates the resources, which requires an accountant, and till someone is paid to do the job, which the first person could have done in less than a minute. That's hella job creation. It's German efficiency of the straightest, of the purest, you know. I mean, fuck German efficiency. That's nice. That's workers per work to be done. Admittedly, it leads to a lot of, in my opinion, bullshit jobs. But it is a fun concept, you know. And I believe it to not be too far from reality, having lived in this country for quarter century myself. Quarter century sounding like a lot. For all my life, I'm only 25 years of age. That's a fun phrasing. I hope you can use some fun phrasings in your time. Thank you very much for watching these. It does truly mean something to me. I'll see you around. Stay safe. Cheerio.